Right. I'm just gonna go ahead and switch this stupid thing because I started like a couple minutes late, so that countdown takes too long. I'm gonna have to shorten that countdown to like a minute. The reason we do the countdown is that way because those people that are following us on YouTube, I think we have, I think 7,000 subscribers over there, maybe on YouTube, and if they've opted in for the notification or the alert, then it will send an alert to them and then gives them time to come in and blah 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 blah. Anyway, we're using a new platform, by the way. I tested it out a couple weeks ago just by myself and gave a lone Hubcast podcast that I didn't even advertise. I just kind of slid in and did it real quick. Talked about some changes here at Cyber Social Hub, some improvements. Actually, not changes. I don't like that word. Well, change is a good thing to me, but not everybody always hears it that way. Um, and I was testing this platform out, and man, I really like it. I really like it because I can now see chats from all the networks that we broadcast out. Before it was mainly just YouTube we could really see. So no matter where you're at, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Facebook, if you're even on X slash Twitter, whatever you want to call it, we can see the chat as it comes in. So that's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. And I'm just curious if you guys are watching and kind of paying attention, I guess. I'm curious to see where everybody's from, just like state or region of the country. You don't have to be too specific of yourself, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to the chat. And what this does is then it will display it over here. So you can see the one message that I put. Man, this mirrored thing's messing me up. Up there. Feel stupid. I can't even move my hand right. But yeah, anyway, so it does that. It's a new platform. I like it. It's called Restream. Hey, there we go. Oh my gosh, Donald, that is a question for my guest, my friend, because wow, man, you just like, I'm not telling you where I'm from. I'm going right for the throat, and you did. So we'll wait for Manny here in just a second so he can answer exactly that question. So Manny, I know you can see Manny's back in the green room right now. I can kind of half see his little image there. And oh yeah, there we go. Donald's in Ohio. It's getting colder here, isn't it? It's never a lot of fun. It's what is it right now? 50 degrees. It's not horrible. It was like 43 this morning when I woke up. Not too good. So one of the segments that we do is I like to start off with some headlines here. So really, it was just I saw this like ticker thing as part of the new platform of the Restream. And California, awesome. And I was like, man, how am I going to use this ticker thing? Because it's like old school like news stuff. So I'm like, I'll just do a quick. Hey, David. See, David's on X. Oh, I can see all the. So I couldn't see X before. So that's awesome. Michael's in Texas. Very cool. But I didn't used to be able to see all these chats. These are great now that I can finally see and actually interact with the people that we're broadcasting out with. So I picked a couple headlines here that I want to read. Obviously, the biggest news this week in cybersecurity, really, and I guess if you're the one working on it or trying to find the problem at AWS this last what was that, Monday or Tuesday that happened? I think it was one of those days that they had that Dynamo, what was it, Dynamo DB DNS failure. Anyway, it caused like massive blackouts for some of the services. All of our infrastructure is in AWS, or most of it. We share some with Google too, just to keep it even, so we don't go completely down. But we didn't have really any downtime. But I know Snapchat did, Robinhood did, Reddit, Signal, who is supposed to be decentralized, right? They had some outages as well. It was over 4 million user reports. Insane. So doing the forensic on that and trying to find it, it took them a long time to find it. If you guys were affected by that, be curious. You guys, anybody affected by it? Man, like I said, I noticed a couple small things on a couple of our servers, but other than that, it was pretty okay. Thank goodness that it wasn't horrific. But one of the things that the next one here is Europools had some big news. I think it was this week is when they put the news out. But actually, so it was a thing called KidFlix. It was a massive CSAM streaming platform, which I'm like, what the, I'm sorry, I'm probably going to get a strike from one of my social networks. Those guys just need to be, what's the term they use? They need to be unalived there, right? That's just horrible, right? But anyway, Europol, it got it all shut down, right? So yeah, there we go. That's exactly what I'm thinking. And I guess they were in operation from April of 22 to March of 25, which is insane to me. But yeah, it took them that long to get them. But I guess it's not an easy thing. I've never had to track down, uh, those large platforms before, especially if they're using some kind of cloaking tech. That'd be unreal. And finally, the last headline here that I have kind of scrolling along the bottom was I don't think this did not affect the US to my knowledge at all, but just to be aware of the stuff that goes on there. Like Chinese hackers breached an Asian telecom giant. Um, and it took them a long time. I think it was like 4 years that the Chinese were inside of this telecom. 4 years just gathering information and data going on, trying to slip under the radar, not trying to cause mischief, but clearly seeking information and espionage information. So if you guys work in IT or blue teams, then my goodness, kudos to you because I could never do that gig. I was just a lowly digital forensic guy that looked at stuff in essentially a dead box environment back in the day. Now it's a little bit more dynamic now. But nonetheless, so there you got it, and it's cool that we can even see the chat in there. That's awesome. Love it. All right. So if you're not a member of Cyber Social Hub, first let me explain what in the world it is. I'm guessing for those of you who are here, probably on our mailing list, you got notification that we were going live. We have two plans now. We have the free plan, still free. Come on in. The only thing we did change is take recorded webinars or replay webinars away. And I think that's not going to happen until after the first of the year because we just did a webinar with Amped Software Wednesday. I'm going to make that one available to everybody because I had some high demand for that one. So we're still going to make that one available. Coming soon, we're going to take those away, and it's just the premium membership. The premium membership is called the Digital Investigators Guild. I liked the name. I thought it was a cool name. And it's $99 for the year. For a full year, you get CPE credits for every webinar recording that you watch. The computer watches it, makes sure you're watching it and paying attention the best that it can, kicks you off a cert, and actually issues you a credit, keeps it in your account. We do it all legit. So if somebody comes does an audit, we can say, yep, this is the credits that person has. So if you are in a role that you need credits, things like that, that's part of it. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Just head on over to cybersocialhub.com. When you click join now, there are two options. Still the free one is there. And the new member one, or the guild membership, which you have a lot more say into what goes on here at Cyber Social Hub. We'll be having meetings, things like that. Oh, and we have a virtual space. We have a 24/7 virtual space that you guys can go into. I may show that later, but it's really cool. One last thing that I want to talk about. There's just a lot of stuff to talk about before I get my guest up here. Sorry about that, Manny, for leaving you back there so long. So I have really found a love for AI, and I started. It's been I don't know how long now. It was another side of our business, and the name of our business is actually Averi Solutions. It's the first two letters of my three kids in the order they were born. That's how I came up with the name of it, and it was the actual founding company of Cyber Social Hub. Here, Cyber Social Hub is actually a part of Averi. Is how that works, and obviously I'm dedicated to law enforcement just with my past. So we're doing a webinar. Now I know you guys may not be interested in this, but pass this along if you're active law enforcement or know somebody that we're going to be talking about intelligent call routing and how artificial intelligence is reducing dispatcher workload. And it's funny because I get dispatchers that tell me, "Oh, they're going to replace us with AI." No, no, AI could never do your job anytime soon. But what it can do is limit the amount of stress and nonsense that you have to deal with like, hey, someone's calling because a guy's got an abandoned car in their neighbor's yard and it's been there for 2 years. Dispatch doesn't need those type of calls. Maybe if you had a really small department, maybe, but some of the other agencies obviously have a code enforcement division or whatever division it's called, can transfer the call there. Street department, transfer call there. Keeps the non-dispatchable calls essentially away from dispatch altogether. The AI will reroute those calls away. It is a very advanced phone tree, basically. You can think of it that way, but it understands, and it's creepy. We developed this out, and we have it deployed in a couple different agencies right now. And this is the webinar that's going to teach you all about it. So if you guys are interested in it, there you have it. I'm going to bring chat back up. Okay, now we've already done that. So I am going to pull Manny up. Manny, I hope you're ready back there. I'll just give you a pre-warning, and then there we go. There's Manny. Look at that beard drop, man. I just now saw it. Manny. Santa Manny. 100%.
Yeah, I got to get ready. Only 2 more months, you know.
Yeah. How long can you grow that sucker?
Oh, I'm not. This is it.
That's as long as it goes?
Yeah.
All right.
That's as long as it's going to go.
That's awesome, man. Well, we were hanging out yesterday a little bit, weren't we?
We were.
Yeah. It was the e-crime symposium that Rob Freed puts on.
Yeah.
You were a speaker there for that. That was pretty cool. It was a lot of information, a lot of good speakers at that event yesterday. If you guys missed it, it was the 2020. He does it every year, I think, about this time.
Yeah.
2025 edition. And we were all talking kind of in a sidebar afterwards. We had these little side rooms. We were using that virtual technology I was talking about earlier. And I'm gonna show this here. And Rob did a screen capture. We were talking about Halloween here, and there it is. There it is. And you can see I was taking my glasses off to get a better look at Manny in them there, wearing his Michael Myers thing. Because I think Michael was talking about how he has this big elaborate Halloween setup there in Long Island where he's at, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Manny disappeared for a little while. Like, where did he go? And then all of a sudden, there it is. Yeah. So yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. That was a good time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, good times. So anyway, sir, for those people who don't know, I guess tell people a little bit about your background. How did you get? I'll help you. I'll lead you quite a ways here. How did you get started in this crazy field anyway?
Well, way back when, 1985, I got my first computer, so that was the actual start. Then for digital forensics, so I was at Gwinnett County Police Department for about 16 plus years, and while I was there, I was in the computer forensics lab.
Mm-hmm.
So because I had background in building computers and working on computers since like 85, and then of course I was in the lab and was doing exams there in the lab, I kind of put those two come together, and that's a little bit. That's the quick high level view of where I'm at today with the builds and computers. Yeah,
that's very cool. That's very cool. Now you and I talk quite a bit when it comes to. I don't know. I mean, I used to like. I mean, back in the day, long before I was a police officer, I build my own computers, but I probably couldn't even put one together anymore because it's just so much to know. It's just so much information that you have to know, like what components work well together. And one thing that actually caught my attention, you were talking about yesterday during your presentation was, and I had no idea this is what it meant. And you meant channels into the CPU specifically. You were talking about that. And if you had like a graphics card that had like 16, you're taking up 16 there. I think you called them PCI channels.
Yeah.
And then the other slot also had 16.
Uh-huh.
But your whole CPU only had X amount. It's going to limit the speed of those CPU channels or the use of those, right?
Yeah, it'll step them down. Like if you go with something, to jump right into it, if you go with something like an Intel Core 9 Ultra 285K,
Uh-huh.
now Intel's they've got it set at 24, well, they call it cores and threads now because they quit doing the hyper thread. They quit doing cores and threads. So now it's efficiency and performance cores. So if you have a processor that has 24 cores, it has 24 PCIe lanes, you put a graphics card in, and they're all nowadays, anything that's a decent card is going to be X16. You've already taken 16 lanes out of that processor for it to address. It'll all still work, but then if you put another card in the board or you're loading it down with a bunch of NVMEs, then it's gonna step that. Most motherboard manuals will just show right out, like if you put in something other than the GPU, it's gonna step that down to X8. So
So those cards aren't cheap.
No, they're not cheap. I mean, we don't really notice it. I think for AI work, maybe for some gamers, you may notice a little lag in speed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't, you can see the difference if you're going to run tests, but for most examiners pulling up images and videos, or for most people doing regular work on a machine, you don't notice it, but it happens. So it's just something that's, a consideration.
Yeah. And you have machines for literally everything. And I want to get to the AI topic here in just a little bit. And Don's cutthroat question, like right from the beginning that he asked, I'm trying to save that one. And I looked at that. And I have no idea what you're talking about. But you have a wide range of stuff that you offer. I'm actually going to jump over to your website here. And we'll just do I'm trying to figure out this new software. So Manny and I were kind of playing with it to see its capabilities a little bit before we went live.
Yeah.
But hey, that guy doesn't do too bad. Your site remembers who I am. Look at that.
Yeah.
Scary tracker. Anyway.
Must have good marketing.
yeah. That's kind of some of the tech that we offer here. But I mean, it's a big wide range of stuff, and you have more than this. Because you were talking about some, I mean, you can go all the way up to these massive systems, and you were talking to me about other systems that you can use for digital investigations too, right? Something you were working on. You want to talk about those a little bit first before we get into the main topic?
Yeah, like some of the smaller systems.
Yeah.
I've been working on some smaller systems lately, just because I don't know. To me, it's with my law enforcement background and being in this now. This is next year, April will be 20 years in digital forensics. So, I just get to thinking in my head, like with the knowledge that I've gained over the years and building machines, that not everybody has a budget. Not everybody can buy a $20,000 computer. Not everybody can buy a $12,000 or $15,000 computer. And if you do testing with the forensic software that's out there, the different vendors that are out there, I don't, not to mention any names, but we all know who, like the big forefront software companies are. If you run those on machines, I mean, I just did a test on the laptop that we have that's on the website, and it's a Core 9 Ultra 275. It's 4 NVMe sticks in that laptop, and then 192 gigs of RAM. So
you said 192, right?
Yeah, there's four slots in there. Holy so I ran a test on that. And then I also ran the same test with the latest version of a well-known piece of software. Ran the same test on a $22,000 box that has a Threadripper 9970, like the brand new Threadripper that just came out in July.
You're gonna have to explain to me. I'm dumb.
Oh yeah, AMD Threadripper. AMD Threadripper. That's their high end. That's AMD's high end besides Epic, the Threadrippers are like their AI workstation processor.
Oh, okay. So it's like, is it GPU more than CPU? Is that what that it is, or is it?
Yeah, it's CPU. So
Okay.
it's, it's big. It's like the thing's maybe almost the size of a deck of cards. It's thin, but it's a fairly large processor.
Okay.
So I ran that same data set on that. That thing's loaded with NVMe's also. It has a 64 gigabyte SSD RAID array that runs 10 to 13 gigabytes read write a second,
Mm-hmm.
an RTX 5090 in it. So like the high end desktop
So I was going
card.
to ask you, I was like, is that a good one? 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's like I mean, the card alone is like $2,000, $2,400 just for the card. Yeah.
Wow. And that's
Which,
one GPU. One.
yeah. Um, so I'm saying all that, throwing all those specs in there to say the laptop, which is about a third of the price of the large desktop, finished in like 31 minutes. The big desktop that was super expensive, 29 minutes. So you saved 2 minutes and paid 3 times the price. So all that said is a lot of the testing I'm doing, if the software is not using AI, which a lot of software says they have AI, but are they really using it or how's it integrated?
Does it really? Right. Because it's not using the hardware. It doesn't call the
Right.
hardware, essentially, right? Yeah.
So if it's not using it most of the time, all the testing that I've seen on the different software packages that are out there,
Uh-huh.
if it's not using true AI and it's not calling to the GPU or the CPU or the RAM or handing processes off, it's not utilizing it. So, the smaller, less expensive boxes, sometimes to me it makes more sense to, if you have a larger budget, buy two smaller machines than buy one big system. I know when we were in our lab, there was plenty of times we'd be sitting there working on cases, and special victims unit detective comes down, they're beating on the door like, I need this phone examined right now, but meanwhile you're 2 days into processing a case that you were also supposed to get done. So like, what are you going to do then? You got to stop the case.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they either had the suspect in the interview room, or it's like a missing person, homicide. Always takes precedence. So I don't know. To me, it makes a lot of sense to have options for smaller systems that are still loaded with good processing power.
Mm-hmm. And those will still get the job done. I mean, you said what,
Yeah,
2 minute difference, essentially.
that was the laptop, but I mean, if you that's not even the Intel 285K, their like high end gaming processor. So you could expect probably close to the same result as the more expensive.
Hmm. That's
Now,
great.
yeah,
And that was in one of your laptops, is that right?
yeah,
Which one was that?
yeah.
Was it a new one or the one on your site? Was it
The
the
one on the site, it's the NB18i.
18?
Uh huh.
I'm trying to click these things so I can pop them up for. Oh, that is a whole heck of a lot less. Hang on, let me swing this over here. That is a whole heck of a lot less than some of those big machines out there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's 18. It's an 18-inch laptop, but gone are the days like this thing's thin. It's a little bit thicker than a deck of cards.
Yeah,
It's
not like the old briefcase size ones that you
oh,
used to have to carry.
those were ridiculous. Things were like an impact weapon. You could hit somebody with them and kill them.
Right.
They had two power bricks. This thing has, just a regular little power brick
Huh.
with it.
Hmm.
But to me, I don't know. That's portable. You can take that thing anywhere.
Yeah. I want to get to a couple of questions here. I saw Jared asked one. I don't know how to put these up on the screen. Let me see if I can. Oh, look at that. It puts right on the doggone screen.
Ah,
Figure out something new.
nice.
So he's asking us so he can catch it later. He did say he had to run. Um, I know Intel's been struggling, and Intel CPUs still top of the line, or is AMD or Snapdragon or better options over the next few years?
Yeah. So there's Intel fans and there's AMD fans. I was an Intel fan for a long time because AMD just wasn't cutting it. My first forensics computer was AMD Opteron. I mean, it ran good, but
Mm-hmm.
I was an Intel fan for the longest time because AMD really didn't have anything that was out there. But now, with like today's forensic needs, and then to speak to today's topics with AI, it's really hard to beat an AMD Threadripper processor or even their 9950X3D.
Hmm.
I would go with AMD before Intel. I mean, they both. If you build two identical boxes and only change the processor, the processing times on those is just like the other one. It's maybe a minute difference.
Yeah. What's the just curious here? What's the cost difference on the two?
Like an Intel 285K is, I mean, you can go to Micro Center and get them all day long for $550, like cheap to me.
Yeah.
AMD's 600.
So you're not looking
Well,
massive.
yeah, you're not.
I
It's
guess
not.
if you're, yeah, building it for the lab, you want something that's going to be quality and last a while too. So
Yeah, the AMDs. Well, I mean, most people know, or if they don't, the AMDs will run hotter. You really got to make sure that you have good cooling in there. The AMDs usually always run a little bit hotter.
yeah.
But it's easy to keep it cool if you put the right liquid cooling on it.
Yeah, and then as we were talking, I guess I named this. It wasn't clickbaity at all. The name of the podcast because it's more for me. I'm curious, and I see some other people are in here curious as well. Is with and you already alluded to it with AI being literally branded in everything, which we know that you know it's a marketing term sometimes. More
Right.
often than not, it's a marketing term. Unless
Right.
you're like running a thinking LLM or something, right? I mean, then it's not. And there's very few people doing that, which I'll talk to you later offline. Something I'm looking at too. I may need some advice on it. But it's not a big of an issue as anything that you've seen because, like you said, you haven't seen any of the software calling on that yet. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's fairly accurate. With some of the bigger packages, I haven't seen it utilize. And to get to Don's question, I I don't see it utilizing like true AI. When you look at the definitions and you look at the hardware or the software or the requirements for a true AI based program, a true AI based program is going to call for something like one of the AMD Threadripper processors. It's going to need like to do the higher end processing. You're going to need like 128 gigs of RAM. You're going to need some NVMe drives in there to run fast, and I'd use PCIe 5.0 because that's just kind of the standard nowadays. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'll have people put in PCIe 4.0, which is the last generation. But it's true AI is going to call for that. It's probably like a minimum of a 5070 Ti card, 5080, or maybe a 5090. And now Nvidia has the new the RTX 6000, the Blackwell Pro card, which is, I mean, it's crazy expensive, but Nvidia built it just for AI because AI runs heavily on GPU.
Mm.
But I mean, the card alone is $8,000. Like you're talking, I
Holy
think
crap!
it's, I think they're nine. I think it's 96 gigabytes of GDDR7 on the card, which is a crazy amount of RAM. But Nvidia built it for all these AI heavy applications. Um, one thing, one thing I will say that I have seen utilize CPU, GPU, and RAM is that, I mean, T3K, they work on a lot of solutions for law enforcement. That's their main focus to me is law enforcement, and
Mhm.
they have a new tool out there called Meditu that does image descriptions. So like when you're done with your exam, you dump in like your images and videos. And then Meditu it's sandboxed, it's offline, it's just an installed package. And it'll go through and it'll write out the descriptions for you. Like back when I was in the lab, the DA's office, we used to just give them a report with like the images and videos, and they were like, okay, this is great, thanks. We'll take it from here. Nowadays, I guess examiners are forced to write a description of what they saw in the image or video. Well, Meditu, it goes through and it writes that description for you based on AI, and they've trained the AI model to actually go through and use the CPU and the GPU and the RAM. They have like minimal requirements, so it'll go through. Now their tools or their plugins, the stuff that they're working on is true AI. Like to me, they're just my opinion, they're the de facto standard for AI, and they develop plugins for other companies. So
That's right. We were
they're
talking about this the other day, right?
uh-huh.
Yeah. And you said that the site here is even outdated. It requires more than this, right? So,
Yeah, those are minimum, that's minimum requirements. Like an i7-10700, most of us have that now, or a Ryzen 7.
mhm.
32 gigs is small nowadays. I mean, you can get 32 gigs for like $100, $150. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely, they're 100% using CPU, GPU, RAM, drive speeds, and they even have it with that software where, like, let's say you have a decent CPU and the CPU's faster. Maybe, I mean, I don't know, maybe you have an old Intel Xeon system or an old um, AMD server type processor. You
Mhm.
can set it to run just off the CPU, so that maybe you don't have the latest greatest 5000 series NVIDIA card. You don't have a 5070 or a 5080 or a 5090. Then you can utilize the CPU to do it. So it's kind of nice because they give you the capability to pick one or the other. If you have a machine and you got a heavy duty GPU in there, then you're golden. You're great.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I remember you mentioning this company. We were chatting the other day and said that they're one of the few people that actually make the calls into, because it's local too, right? I mean, it doesn't reach out. I mean, it's not like a Chat GPT or Grok, right? It's sending it to the local box and not reaching out to an LLM or model out somewhere else, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I, I, I like to use the word sandbox, but it's like a closed network. Like
Mm.
everything you need is right there in the installer. And they've worked with, I mean, they're over, if anyone doesn't know, they're overseas, they're in Austria. So they work with the local police department there so that they can actually train those models, I think, like in-house right there at the agency. So it's not like, we can't, well, nobody can. Nobody's going to send CSAM images out to
Yeah.
any of these big companies and say, here, program this tool. Like, one, it's just illegal to have it.
Right.
So it's hard to program AI models when they don't know what they're looking. The AI model doesn't know what it's looking for. It knows to spot maybe skin tone, but it doesn't know to hone in specifically on that type of material.
Yeah. Yeah. And that brings up an interesting change or evolution, which I'm sure the companies that are currently doing these types of CSAM identification are well aware of the pivot or the change. Hopefully they see it coming. I just saw it, and I'm not very smart. Is what you had just mentioned is, AI will probably take over that task at some point, not relying on the current ways of identification.
Yeah.
But to do that, you just mentioned a really interesting challenge of you can't transmit it. You can't send it to another source unless, you just can't.
Yeah.
That I'm aware of, unless they change the laws. You're more aware than I am. But local, though, with this, with the thing I just showed, this running on over here, running on a machine that you build, or a hefty machine, it stays all on site. It doesn't have to go anywhere, and the identification of it, or at
Yeah.
least the description and stuff that it's doing, is all local. It doesn't go anywhere.
Right. And I get this all the time. Just to speak to that, I get this. I don't get this. I hear this quite a bit in the forensic community. Like, well, the cloud, everything's going to be the cloud. And I don't know. I'm doing it now, scratching my head. Like, no. To me, you're still transmitting sensitive material across a network that could be intercepted. And I don't care how locked down you think your network is. Just like you talked about at the beginning of the show, if it's online, a hacker can get in there. I don't care what you tell me.
Oh yeah,
they can get to it. Yeah, but you can argue with some people till you're blue in the face that it's safe, it's secure. I still don't. It doesn't sit right with me. Maybe it's my law enforcement background kicking in, and that I know something's getting transmitted over a wire that could get intercepted.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think just a final point. I think it's important to contain that. Like, if you're going to use true AI and like the LLMs and NLP and all the training models, and use that for a law enforcement purpose or even a corporate purpose, but for mostly even a law enforcement purpose, it has to be self-contained. And even to go a little bit farther, I know that they're working on using that as well for terrorism and violence. Like, it's hard to detect that, because who really, or who should have terrorism images or guns and bombs and things like that on a machine? So it's difficult. You can possess that stuff, but it's not something that somebody just keeps on hand.
No.
So they're working on that as well.
We don't keep those.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, and again, I'm brainstorming and just kind of throwing stuff out into the wind here. I'm waiting for people to yell at me and disagree or in agreement with what we're saying here.
Oh yeah, Don did.
Yeah, we like. Oh yeah, I put that up on the screen.
Yeah.
But I think people and agencies were getting more comfortable with the cloud, with Gov Cloud and Azure Gov. It meets that higher standard of CGIS and all that other stuff. That if you want to look up all those different crazy things, you're welcome to do so. It's a lot of just junk. If you're watching this podcast right now, it's a lot of stuff that we have to comply with. But now I see with AI, especially because it takes so much horsepower, and I think it's going to incorporate itself more into the tools to help investigators deal with these large data set volumes that we're looking of, shifting tracks yet again to come back more localized, because there's no way you're pushing that type of sensitive data in through, a large scale LLM anywhere, especially a public LLM. Holy crap. You just can't do that.
Right.
So you're looking at a hefty machine to handle those things.
Yeah, you are. And just to add to that, I mean, because my presentation yesterday, I showed the FBI 2024 statistics, and it's just the electronic crime, regardless of what it is, what type of crime it is, it's just getting it. I don't want to say exponential, but it just keeps increasing. Like, it hasn't gone down. So the data sets, volumes, I mean, I remember hitting houses and going on a search warrant and pulling out drives and Blu-rays and everything you could think of. You get back to the lab, you got 20, 30, 40 terabytes worth of data to get through. I know that tools triage, and I know that you can get through backlog using some software packages and other software that runs fast, but it's only going to be so long before we can't manage the amount of data that's coming through.
Yeah. Was that
And
bell on
so,
your end or was that my end? Was that your end? Sounded like your
yeah, it's
popcorn was
fine.
done.
Yeah.
Like your
It's my,
popcorn's microwave's
well,
done.
so I don't know. I turned off text messages, but they still come through. Thanks, Apple.
Yeah, mine do that same thing. Even though I put focus, or what is it called, focus now, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
into do not disturb. They just like, yeah, I'm just gonna come on through regardless. So
Yeah. But to speak a little bit more about that, I think in order to kind of draw in on the subject, I think we're gonna have to have machines, and they don't necessarily have to be expensive. We're gonna have to have machines that can run AI based software that are cost effective for law enforcement. Like, I mean, everybody knows we're in a government shutdown, so some money is frozen. It's going to open up at some point, and there'll be money again. But not a lot of agencies have a lot of excess funds or overhead coming in to buy expensive machines. There has to be solutions out there to have, I'm going to call it a cheap machine, forensic box that you can put AI on to handle it. Like, at some point, we're going to have to handle and manage these data sets, because I think they're only going to get bigger. And even if the data sets don't get bigger, you're still going to end up with more cases, because statistics show there's more crimes.
yeah.
We have to come up with something. So that's why I was kind of concentrating on smaller boxes, cheaper solutions.
I think you're on to it. You're spot on with your thinking, because most of the major tools, as even Don was questioning from the beginning, they're just not taking advantage of those, or not. I really wouldn't say advantage, but they're just not requiring a true AI box, even though they say they have AI in it. But what, I guess it's up to their definition of what AI truly is. I mean, if they're calling it an if this then that, then you can call everything AI for that matter.
Right.
But
Yeah.
true AI, in its sense of tapping into a trained model and LLM, all that other fun stuff, that's a true AI that's sitting there running on a power suck. Watch your power meter just spin around really fast. Now that's true AI, and it has to call on those things in those channels that you had mentioned. Um, I think that's a ways off yet, because of the infrastructure and stuff that has to get there. But and what you're saying is the smaller boxes are usually just fine, and it gives those people those options, right?
Yeah. I mean, something so to talk about, I mean, if you're going to integrate and you're going to talk about like true AI and the power behind it, using the Intel 285K or even the AMD 9950X, those cheap $550, $600 processors, they're outstanding for running software packages for now. Like, they're fast, they're cheap, it gets the job
Yeah.
done. I mean, I love them. They're for what they are. But if you're going to do like true AI, AMD calls their Threadripper series processors like AI based processors. And I believe that. Like, when like you were saying, everybody likes to use the term AI, but I think their Threadripper processors are really truly AI ready. And I'm saying that to say, like, even a 9960X, which is like their entry level processor, it's a 9960X Threadripper.
Mm-hmm.
It's got 92 lanes. So, like, earlier on, we were talking about the lanes
Holy
of
crap.
processors, and yeah, and the Intel has 24, and the AMD, the desktop one has 32. The 9960, which I think would be a true entry level AI based processor, is like $1,500. Like, not bad.
Yeah.
You know, in the grand scheme things of forensic boxes, these things are crazy priced. Like sometimes a machine costs half a car or 2/3 of a car. So, you know, you can take something like a 9960X, you're not going to use up all those lanes. Even the GPU, you take out what, 16 lanes, that's 76 PCIe lanes left over. You could throw in another GPU and you still got, so you got a CPU, you could put in 2 GPUs, load the thing with NVMEs and have 2 GPUs and a 9960 in there. They would all run at full speed. And like a 5070's $800. Like I know there's a lot of numbers getting flown around here, but you know, like in my head, I'm thinking 1500 and 1800's 23 and another 8's like 32, 31.
And you still got room,
like,
right?
Or no, 41. Right. And you're not, I mean, yeah, you have to buy more equipment with it. You got to consider power supplies and things like that. But that to me is where things are going to need to go when the software can catch up or actually process AI. Like Meditu's doing it now, and they have other products, but you know, that's where I think it needs to be with, you know, like with hardware and AI.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's headed this way. Clearly, I mean, these guys have been around, and most people have never even heard of them. And we see them because we're at a lot of shows. So we've seen Felix, is not his name. We've seen him for years because he started off doing like video and intelligence based stuff too, and then started coming to the shows. I remember way back when, and the product was holy crap. Back then, I was like, "How is it doing this? How are you doing these things?" It was like
the
voodoo.
Yeah. Yeah, the stuff I've seen their tools do, it's just crazy. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of what they can churn out. And they've built plugins for high level products that some people may already be using. They're kind of they're the go-to if you want real AI, to me.
Yeah, it definitely looks that way. I'm gonna have to explore their site a little bit. I gave it a quick glance over just so I didn't sound totally stupid before we went on. So, but yeah, I mean, these guys are definitely there, and I know I'm a little familiar with some of their products out there for sure.
Yeah.
So for the most part, you know, we got people probably in the audience. The audience is being quiet. They must be like really engaged, or we put them all to sleep. One of the two.
Hawaii.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Aloha.
Deborah snuck in from Hawaii. Hey, there you go. Look at that. What time is it? How many hours difference is Hawaii?
For me, they're 3 hours behind.
Okay, so you're 3 hours from me. So they're 6 hours from me, right? Yeah. Holy crap, I'm All right. Yeah, I guess
It's
so, Deborah. It's definitely early over there.
Yeah, that's it. 3 hours from us.
Yeah. I'll be doggone. That's crazy. Yeah, everybody's like, okay, we're here. I promise. It's just interesting stuff. That's good. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. All right. So I kind of want to sum up our conversation just in case somebody has to run. I want to, because we can keep talking, Manny. We don't have to end it right away because I got more questions. But if someone's looking for, you know, a decent forensic box for their lab, and you know, maybe they don't need all that craziness, what would you recommend? What would you recommend? Something that runs just one of the basic folks out there, because we obviously Cyber Social Hub has a lot of sponsors, like Magnet's one of our sponsors here. FDK Xtero is one of our sponsors here. We have a lot of those parabens here. I mean, we have a lot of forensic companies here to run their stuff. Is there anything crazy that you need to do hardware wise to run some of the top folks that are out there?
Those packages right now, like I can tell you, the one you mentioned, one of them that I was using yesterday, even like our XA or our X0A, which is, it's like an AMD based system, but it's like it, you know, an AMD 9950X processor. I'd probably go with 192 gigs of RAM, and I'd load that thing with NVMe's, like get PCIe Gen 5,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the current software that's out there is just going to fly on it. Like I've even had agencies that have bought like that less expensive or cheaper form factor, where they're getting the 9950, which is the 9950X is AMD's desktop. It's like their $600 processor.
Mm-hmm.
Get that 96 to 192 gigs of RAM. Most boards will hold 4 sticks now, so you can, well, there are 64 gigabyte sticks now, so you can go to 256. And then just the key is going to be, which is all over my website, it's not like I'm sharing any special secret, is it's the independent volumes. It's one for the OS, one for temp, one for your cases, and one to store the data, which you can get those. I mean, even a 2 terabyte Gen 5 Samsung 9100 or a Kingston Fury, they're $200, $210 on Amazon all day long. You know, they're cheap.
Yeah.
Like, to me,
Yeah, inexpensive.
that's not expensive.
Yeah.
And then you're just gonna be limited by the GPU. That's probably going to be the biggest cost. And not saying for AI, but just to run like your Magnet, your Parabon, your Xdero. If you're running Xdero, it's all day long. You have to have that SQLite database.
Right. Michael, we'll
Oh
get to
yeah.
your question here in just a second, but and I know you were working on some kind of smaller boxes, and you told me that, you know, a lot of times laptop isn't even a bad idea because of
Yeah, the laptops are nice. That, I mean, the 18, I mean, we have one that's a 16-inch laptop. They're nice because, I mean, obviously we don't want to transport CSAM, but LE is allowed to have it. It's just if somebody took your laptop, you know, you'd want BitLocker or some kind of encryption on it. But the laptops to me are just, if you're doing corporate exams or you're doing LE exams, it's just nice to take that thing with you, and you can process cases anywhere. Or like when I was in Gwinnett County Police Department, we would work with the Georgia Bureau of Investigations all the time. We'd go out and they'd have sweeps where we'd hit houses, and you got to sit there in somebody's nasty house and triage through the data while, you know, detectives are bringing you drives, and you're plugging drives in and triaging the drives.
gross stuff you have to sit in. I remember those days. I don't miss it at all.
Yeah.
But there was some.
So the laptop.
Go ahead.
The laptop's nice just because it's portable, and then you have a lot of power. You can take it back, and even if you're not using that as your main forensic box, you can use it to rip phones. You can take it out for triage. You know, when COVID hit, a lot of them, they sent people home.
Yeah.
Obviously. So it's beneficial. I mean, laptops got real popular when COVID hit.
Yeah, I'm going to answer this question. I'm going to start bringing some questions up here, Manny. I'm going to answer this one for you, and I don't know a thing about computers. Michael asks Dell versus HP for AI. Neither. I recommend Bitmindz. So there's my recommendation. Manny, did you have anything to add to that?
No, they're good. I mean, I guess if I had to pick one of those, I'd pick Dell.
You know, pick your own stuff. Quit being so.
Yeah, I know.
If you guys, I mean, if you've listened to the podcast for the last, how long have we been on now? 55 minutes roughly. See, I told you to go fast the other day. It's almost over.
Oh, yeah.
Like blink, and I'm still not done. I still have more questions. That Manny is just a wealth of information when it comes to this stuff. He can just talk, what I call talking nerd, all day long, and he knows his stuff, man. He knows his stuff. So I would recommend, again, just me, that you head over to bitmindz.com and check it out. Wait, I even have something. I forgot I created this, Manny, and then I didn't use it. There it is. I created that cool little QR code. If somebody actually scans this, I think up top, it'll show somebody scanned it on the screen. It'll show, oops, somebody scanned your QR code up on the screen. Yeah, see, look, it did it, Manny. You just scanned it.
I did it.
It doesn't show me who or what, but it shows so somebody scanned the QR code. Awesome. I'll leave it up there for a couple minutes. But I mean, the address is really easy. It's bitminds.com, right? Like you see the spelling right there. You guys can go and check it out. But there are more questions here, and I'm going to go back to those and head over there. Ed had a question. Let me bring that up here. There you go. Are the Ryzen 9 X3D processors with integrated graphics good enough without an additional GPU to run Celebrite? I am so far out of the business here.
Insights.
What is that called? Insights. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And Axiom for non-AI purposes.
Oh, yeah. That 9950 X3D will scream with Axiom. I mean, just runs wide open. Yeah.
There you go, Ed. There's your answer. Hope that answered it.
Just because, I don't know. I mean, I've mentioned it a couple times. I'd get the 9950 X3D. Why not go to the top? I mean, $600 is a lot, but not really. I mean, I guess maybe I'm so used to buying expensive processors that $600 is like, that's nothing. That's cheap.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're doing, here's my thoughts. Again, my thoughts. I do a little tiny podcast, right? And I bought really nice equipment because I like things to be done the right way. I'm weird like that. And I was no different when I was actually doing live cases. I like to do with good equipment. And I'll tell you right now, I've known Manny. How many years have I known you now, Manny?
I think since 2000. I was talking to you since 2007.
It's been a long.
Did you?
Yeah.
Didn't you go to Kennesaw State for one of those?
I think so.
Cybercrime summit things they had there.
It's been a long time.
Definitely 2008.
I used to. Those who don't know, I used to teach in the industry. Then I was an actual practitioner. But that's why I get smarter people on the show now because I don't know anything. But yeah, I mean, so Manny's been in the business a long time. He knows exactly what he's talking about. I can't recommend it enough. So anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to add one last thing about Ed's question with the Ryzen 9.
Oh yeah.
I do like the Ryzen 9, the 9950 X3D better than the Intel on that because, and I think most of you know, and it's just what it is.
What do you got going on?
The spaceships are coming.
Yeah,
I do like it. Magnet stops at 32 threads or whatever they call it, 32 threads or cores. Like you can set that in their front end. So even if you have a processor that has 64 cores or threads, you stop at 32. So I do like the 9950 X3D because it matches perfect with, it has 32 threads, the 9950, and that's where Magnet's limitation is at. And I mean, I don't know. I guess limitation's a good word, but not really. It's perfectly matched. So whereas the 285K, the Intel stops at 24. So you're 8 cores, you're 8 threads short of what, might as well. It's kind of like driving like a Porsche. You don't want to put in 87 octane. You got to put in 91. You might as well give the thing full throttle. Right,
you might as well. You're headed that direction anyway, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Manny, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. I'm looking for any last minute questions, and I don't see any. If you guys have any last minute ones, now is the time to ask, because otherwise you can head over to bitminds.com and give Manny
Yeah, you can find me there.
contacting there. Give him a call. Get his AI receptionist. You know, what's her name?
Yeah,
What's her name again? You named
Tanya.
what was it?
Tanya.
Tanya. That's right. That's right. So you can get Tanya and talk to Tanya, and she'll transfer you. So there you go. You guys, thanks so
Yeah.
much. I appreciate it, Manny. Thanks for hanging out with us. Really appreciate it. Don, thank you for hanging out. Michael, also same. Thank you, and Ed, yep, thank you for hanging
Yeah,
out.
thank you.
You guys had some really awesome questions. Oh, Todd Shipley was here. Sorry, Todd, I missed. You were talking about something, obviously about some tech that we talking about. I missed it
Oh,
up there
yeah.
quite a bit. Deborah, see you. I'm just trying to look through chat. Jared, I know he's not still here anymore, but David, if you're still on X, you're the only one from outside of YouTube that was hanging out with us today. So I appreciate that, man. So yeah, there we go. I think I got everybody that was in chat at least. Anyway, I know there's some lurkers there. I can't see anyone else who's actually looking at us right now, but I can only if they're in chat. So, but cool deal. Manny, did you have anything else to add?
No, I think that's it.
We talked a lot of nerd, man. That was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to have you back. Our conference is coming up too. And it's December, the second week of December. I think it's 9th, 10th, 11th, or maybe the 9th, 10th. I don't know if I'm going to do 2 or 3 days, depending on how many people want to be speakers. Speaking of that, I know, Manny, you're going to be presenting there. But if any of you guys are interested in presenting at Cyber Social Con, it's our 5th or 6th year. I think this is our 5th year we're doing this. The year before we had like over 1,000 people register. Last year was our first down year ever. Our first year we didn't continually go up, and we still had almost 900 people register for that. So that's quite a bit. Now everybody just pops in and comes and goes because it's all virtualized. But that's still a lot of people to register, and it's all digital investigations. We bring in OSINT, Manny for hardware, all kinds of just awesome stuff. So if you guys are interested in it, make sure you get a hold of us. I'm going to be putting some stuff out. If you're on the mailing list, we'll put some stuff out there and see it. Mountain West Forensics and Consulting. Didn't see you in there. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. All right. Awesome. Manny, again, thanks, sir. Hang out. Don't go anywhere because the ending's a little different. I don't have any awesome music playing at the end. I just throw a logo up and then we got to end it. So I got to fix the ending. I just realized like, oh, wait, I didn't make a good ending like I did in the other one. But just hang out and we'll talk to you here in a minute. Thanks.
Okay.